Hello and welcome back. It is me, and today we are discussing the tragedy of the commons. What is it, and why is it really boring? Because I kind of regret choosing this as a topic, but it came up a few days ago. I forget why, and that was a lot of regular tears in a row, wasn't it? And anyway, it completely bored me out of my skull reading about it. But I'm in too deep, so now I'm gonna present. Anyway, hope you appreciate my TED Talk. And today, continuing on with challenges, there we are. We have challenge number 2, highbrow. Yes, the actual, whatever transformation this is called, I forget. And just mom's foot, that's all. That's nice and easy. Anyway, tragedy of the commons. Oh. Oh. Oh yeah. I do start out with the petrified poop. Very nice. So the tragedy of the commons actually originates as what goes as far back as Aristotle. So again, keeping in line with the Greek philosophers here. Do it. Beam me, Scotty. Great. Would like those, but Aristotle says that that which is common to the greatest number gets the least amount of care. And that is more or less the summary of the tragedy of the commons. Ooh, nice. Men pay most attention to what is their own, they care less for what is common, hence the commons. Could you tell yet that we're talking about the commons? Oh. Not interested in those. But after Aristotle, the next person to talk about the commons at all is, in 1833, bit of a jump in time, but still, the English economist William Forster Lloyd released a pamphlet known as Lloyd's Pamphlet, where he discussed cattle herding and common land. That's right, common land. And yeah, I'll go up there. What Lloyd says is, bye-bye. Well, he doesn't exactly say bye-bye. He says bye-bye-bye. Ooh. Don't mind if I do. I'll take a free bomb and key. What Lloyd says is, boiling it down, is consider cattle herders sharing a parcel of land. It makes sense for each individual herder to keep more cattle than is recommended for them. Recommended that they avoid overgrazing. So you don't want to let your cattle graze too much and effectively destroy the land for everyone else. So there's a certain limit of cattle that each person should have. But, you know, if the land is good, then why not just have like one more cattle? One more animal that grazes. It's not a big deal. It's not really gonna matter. But if everyone thinks that way, then it really does matter. And the pasture, the parcel of land, is destroyed. Let's see. Okay, good. I was hoping for something. Do it. Give to me that which is mine. The magician isn't bad. More bad gas, huh? I don't care about restarting. This isn't a daily challenge. Oh, well there goes that luck of mine. Blasting cap? No thank you. Ooh, very nice. Oh. Wait. Wait. What was giving me health back there? Why do I have so much? It's new, right? Also... Do I do it? Do I get reckless? Sure. I'll get reckless. Having a Meat Boy is pretty good. And I know I have bombs, whatever. I'm being lazy. My brain is fried. I am tired. I'm recording this late. Please go easy on me. Just today. This might end up being mailing it in number 2, just because I cannot be bothered to give that much effort to this topic. I'm sorry. Can I get a soul heart or something, please? Don't you dare be... Okay, good. It's not a bad guy. Hey, I got my luck back. And of course, one more penny spawns right as I'm leaving. I have no reason not to see what this is. It can't be a bad trip. Oh, I already know what it is, and it's disappointing. That's what. Anyway. The next major figure in this discussion about the tragedy of the commons is in 1968. Oh. In 1968, ecologist Garrett Hardin wrote an article about the tragedy of the commons, where he actually, coined the term tragedy of the commons. And can I... Yeah, okay. Ooh. Oh, okay. Nice. Get him. No. Okay. We're doing good. We're still doing good. Go get him. Meanwhile, I'll read. Oh, well, that was short-lived. And I have so much money. So, Garrett Hardin writes in his article, "Therein is the tragedy. Each man is locked into a system that compels him to increase his herd without limit. In a world that is limited, ruin is the destination toward which all men rush, each pursuing his own best interest in a society that believes in the freedom of the commons. Freedom in a commons brings ruin to all." Isn't that great? Anyway, Go get him. Nice. Go get him. No. Get that. Kill the... there. Ah. Yeah, I think having Super Meat Boy here was the right call. Right, that's where I came from. So if people only understood their own personal gain, people will end up treating each other as resources. That's one conclusion. This will... So Hardin here is a bit of a Malthusian. Now, I didn't actually research Malthus, but I know a bit about him. Malthus is basically just a guy who focuses on the population growing out of control and us approaching a sort of apocalyptic scenario where we're vastly overpopulated. And by we, I mean like the whole world, I guess. I don't know. No, no, no. There we are. I really like that chest, but I don't feel like getting hurt. So, Hardin here, his ultimate concern is overpopulation, like Malthus. And he has some pretty radical beliefs. Mildly radical beliefs, but still radical beliefs. Uh-oh. Okay. And yeah, I'll let him go. No, I have to be more active than that, I guess. Go up. Oh, that's on me. Don't do that. Can I get a lot of guys in this room? I sure can. Or girls. Or non-binaries. Don't be greed. Oh, you're not greed. I'll take the Bible. Actually, let me actually take the Bible and go use it real quick. Sorry that this might end up being a bit of a longer run than it should be, but I want to relax and enjoy myself. Boom. Oh, range. Yeah, look at that. Let's see. Anyway, Hardin believes that if everyone only looks out for their own self-interests, but not the interests of the many, then the world population will grow out of control. Yes, yes, that's a natural conclusion. Ooh, yeah. And you too. He even gets more specific than that, stating that he blames the welfare state, ultimately. That so long as there are state-funded programs that care for children, that will encourage overpopulation. And it's like, I mean, maybe, I guess, but that's so heartless and also not provable. I'm not sure it's so easily demonstrable as he assumes it to be. But yeah, so he doesn't believe in any sort of state-funded anything for caring for children. That's nice. That's great. I'm happy for him. Oh, okay. Let's see. Hardin argues that policing... Oh. Yeah. Hardin argues that policing the commons should not be done by consciousness alone, otherwise free riders will get the majority of the benefit rather than people who are more altruistic. And yeah, I agree. I think almost everyone would. If you haven't figured it out by now, this is sort of a nothing topic. But I'll get to that more explicitly in a bit. Ooh. I suppose... Caves 2? Yeah, I could use this. That was a very good idea. Alright. Let's see. Hardin closes his article by stating, George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel's maxim. So, Hegel is a German philosopher, I believe. I didn't look too deeply into him. But Hegel's maxim is this, and a maxim is basically just like a... You could say that it's just a statement of truth or philosophy. or something related to morality, moreover. Hello. I no longer care about you. Oh! Excellent. So many keys. And a free bomb. And you know what? Now it'll only cost half a soul heart, so I don't mind. Oh. Hey! Alright. Wow. Okay. No, I'd like it, please. Yeah, thanks. This is great. Ah. Well, okay. I almost messed up there. Yeah, nice. Did it in time. Hegel's maxim, let me actually get back to it, is that freedom is the recognition of necessity. What Hegel means by this is that in order to truly be free, you need to understand what your needs are and how to meet them. That's not, you know, too crazy, is it? But Hardin here uses it to suggest that true freedom requires observing the fact that it is a necessity to, you know, regulate or otherwise manage the commons, and then we can be able to focus on even more important issues of freedom. Now, Hardin's article here was highly, highly influential. Oh. Well, yeah, that's unfortunate that I got you, but, yes, please. Yeah. In fact, the word common only attained a much more common usage after Hardin. Who knew? But here's the really crazy thing, is that the word commoner didn't refer to common people. It's not the origin. At least in English, in the English language. It probably doesn't translate well what I'm saying here to other languages, but in English at least, the term commoner had to do with people who had the legal right to use common land. And so in fact, there weren't that many commoners. I mean, they weren't that rare either, but it certainly wasn't a majority. So yeah, the ultimate conclusion from a lot of this, from a lot of more modern work and retrospectives on the tragedy of the commons, is that this is kind of a nothing. This isn't anything new or impressive, because as it turns out, there are almost no historical commons, at least as Hardin describes. Hardin himself even later says that perhaps he... great. Perhaps he should have renamed his article Tragedy of the Unregulated Commons, because almost every commons that exists is regulated somehow or another. I don't care about health at this point. Oh, okay. Whoa. Nice, nice damage. Ooh. Yeah, that's a reroll. After I get this item. I dodged that? Cool. Boom. It's over. Oh, yes. And, do I care about Rerolling. I probably don't even have enough rooms to. Let me just take the health and go. So, the common land mentioned in Lloyd's pamphlet is widely misunderstood, for starters. Common land in England was owned and expected to be used by commoners. So, first of all, the idea that it's common land, as in like a public resource, is completely false. Again, it had owners, but the owners were expected to allow commoners, that is, people who had the legal right to use that land, to use that land. It sounds a bit redundant when I say it like that, but it's true. In fact, again, that is the origin of the term commoner, is that it's someone who had access to common land, typically because they have, like, cattle or sheep or something they need to graze. But it was regulated, it was managed, even back in ye olde England. Overgrazing was considered a problem that was to be avoided, and it was avoided by careful land management by the owners of the land, and also commoners had to subject themselves to a number of requirements in order to use the land. They could also be fined if they were found overgrazing. Oh, cool. And in fact, very few examples ever exist of truly common resources that are free with unfettered access. Yeah, I'll see what's up. Ooh, well, it comes with a restock machine. Oh. No thanks. Can I get anything fun? Oh. I don't have the money for that. Sure. I don't care. Let's see. Apparently, Hardin, in his article, I didn't get into some of the specific examples he used, but apparently he should have accounted for changing birth and death rates in England as well, which he apparently didn't. And Hardin is also guilty of not clarifying whether he's talking about... hold on, where is it? Common property or open access resources. So common property means that, or common pool resources as they're known, are resources that are hard to prevent other people from using, whereas open access resources represent some sort of infrastructure that was created by someone or some company that then allows the use of that infrastructure to others, usually for a fee, possibly after they follow other regulations. Era. Nice. Some final notes. Just skimming through stuff, sorry about this. Social change and agricultural innovation are ultimately what led to common land by Lloyd's time being poor quality land. Actually, common land used to be pretty good quality, but then a lot of it was enclosed, as it's called, closed off from the public, essentially, because times changed. So by the time Lloyd came around and wrote his little pamphlet, where he describes the tragedy of the commons, although he didn't coin the term, he observed that the only common land was pretty poor quality and thought that, it must be because the commoners abuse it. But no, that's not actually the full story there. Opponents of Hardin argue that the tragedy of the commons is often used as a pretext for private ownership and resource exploitation. A somewhat related issue is the resource curse, also known as the paradox of plenty or poverty paradox, in which countries with an abundance of a natural resource or natural resources tend to have, like very strongly, tend to have lower economic growth and lower levels of democracy compared to countries with fewer natural resources. Some examples of common resources in the modern age that are interesting to look at are Wikipedia, which is still moderated, open source software, which again have licenses that they often come with, and those licenses can really matter. But also, open source software is more or less moderated in some sense by the consumers and by the community. And during something like a pandemic, if that ever were to happen for some reason, that'd be crazy, right? The literal air we breathe would be a common resource, which is why keeping that air healthy and clean and free from infectious diseases necessitates some sort of lockdown. But, as we saw a few years ago, lockdowns are more of a suggestion than, at least in the United States, it wasn't something that was so strongly enforced when it really should have been. And the last thing I want to say about this is that it's interesting to look at the opinions of extremists. Typically, if someone is an extremist or radical, they tend to view everyone else as a radical as well and think that people don't generally mean what they say at face value, or that whenever anyone suggests any course of action, their ultimate intention is to use the edge cases of their suggestion. What I mean is that the Marxist geographer David Harvey claims, and I quote, "The dispossession of indigenous populations in North America by productive colonists, for instance, was justified because indigenous populations did not produce value." So this geographer, David Harvey, again, is claiming that with the perspective that Hardin gave, with this tragedy of the commons and all that, that you could justify colonization of North America by European powers, and the dispossession of indigenous populations would be justified because Europeans are able to make a lot more money off of it than Native Americans are, which I don't think is an appropriate application of the tragedy of the commons. I don't, sure, I don't know Hardin that well, and there are others that have claimed that Hardin might be a bit racist, but I don't see this being applicable because this assumes, the Marxist here, David Harvey, is assuming that Hardin's only goal, the only variable he's optimizing for, is wealth. Some measure of wealth. And, in that extremely rigorous sense, perhaps that would be appropriate then, to say that Europeans were better able to optimize the wealth of North America compared to Native Americans. But there's a lot more to land usage than just wealth. And so it's interesting, again, just to look at someone who's a bit of an extremist here, David Harvey, and how he assumes such a rigid interpretation of what he thinks other people view as good and evil, which is like capitalist wealth and capitalist poverty. Those are good and evil when it's like you can also optimize for like friendly relations or having clean air or quality of life. Those things very much matter too, and are arguably also common resources that the tragedy of the commons still applies to. Anyway, I was really bored reading about this. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you were able to learn something today. I will admit, I did learn one thing in particular that's going to stick with me. That's again that the English word commoner does not originate from common people. It's the word for people who had the right to use the commons, common land. Those were commoners, and they were not that common. Anyway, thank you for sticking around, and hope you learned something, hope you had fun, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.